Hello everyone, and today's video is going to be rather different because it's a half a Kitbash, half a painting video, but it's mostly focused on the Kitbash elements. You see, I have a steam tank. I've always loved steam tanks. They've been one of the coolest models when it comes to the Empire, but I've always wanted more, even though you can only really field one in an army. They're quite expensive, and taking more than one in a larger game is always anti-fun because they're very durable. So what about something different? One thing I always wanted to do as a kid was to build up the unique steam tanks that were available in White Dwarf, but they were too expensive. They were around £40 each to 45, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot for Warhammer prices, but back then that was very, very high. I couldn't afford it when I was a teenager. I can't afford it now because, I mean, getting those original metal models is very, very expensive nowadays. So why not use the plastic kit and make a new one? Coincidentally, I have about a almost complete tank. Shortly after the old world was announced, I bought a bunch of very cheap job lots, thinking, well, I could make a bunch of armies and have them ready for potential battle reports. And you guys have seen a lot of those armies on the main channel. The Empire is one of them, and I have a few steam tanks that I have not built up just yet. So let's turn this almost complete steam tank into the Implacable. Now this steam tank does not have any rules, but we can homebrew them, and maybe, who knows, in the future Games Workshop might do that originally. So what I have to do is build up a standard style steam tank first, but not the full way. I'm going to be following the White Dwarf stuff, but obviously having to make it up as I go along because I don't have all the pieces, and the White Dwarf stuff was originally designed for the metal kit. This is full plastic, and I'm going to be getting rid of a bunch of stuff. I don't need the topper. I don't need the steam gun. This is going to be with a mortar and a few swivel guns, which unfortunately I only have one, but in the future I'll just add to it. So that was a very long-winded way of saying, yeah, let's have a little fun because I want to go nostalgia mode. The first part might not be too relevant to you guys, but I don't have the shields that come with the steam tank nor the Griffin iconography. So I'm just going to cut off the sections there and put some of those shields on myself. This is so it still looks like it's got some armor at the front, whereas the side is going to be kept kind of barren. It's still going to be the Implacable, but it's going to be my take on it. Remember that during this period in the old world, this was confirmed by Games Workshop in an article, there's not 8 steam tanks, there's actually hundreds still active to this day. So I can have a lot of fun, and that means that you might see a bunch of steam tank videos popping up every now and then. So the first thing there is by scraping off some sections. It's not the most entertaining part, but I'm trying to make sure that everything looks as coherent as possible. I don't want those massive sections that look like rivets but aren't really rivets. They're still going to be the rivets, and I'm going to be painting those up, hopefully. This is going to be one of the larger models that you're going to be working with, and you can skip ahead if you don't want to watch this part. There's still a lot more to come, but if you've got a steam tank but are missing parts, this might be a good teaching moment because there are loads of things that you can do to just keep making your steam tank as unique as possible. And even with a standard full kit, experiment. This kit surprisingly is really good just to make it your own. And if you want to homebrew and your local club or your store that you play in allows for it, there's like, what, 6 proper unique steam tanks? Not counting Kathleen and the rat tank? Stick a Hellblaster volley gun on it. Stick a bunch of stuff on it. Don't worry, there's going to be loads of videos for that too. Pro tip here is if you're missing the shields, if you've got Empire kits, these are from really old kits, by the way, but the standard ones will work quite well. The shields themselves will need to be bent a little bit, but you can do that with a little bit of boiling water. So if you're using like the standard Empire kits just to add some shields there, some heraldry, it might protrude a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. You can paint under that. And at the end of the day, that shield is just there to act as extra visual style points. The newer shields have a lot more detail on them, so that's probably better for you. But yeah, all you have to do is get the shield, stick it into some boiling water, put that in a Tupperware or whatever, and then just bend it in. Wait like a minute for it to go soft. Make sure that it's not starting to melt, right? Because that's really important. These are much thicker plastics than the newer ones, but it's just leaving them there for a bit, slap them on and bend them, and that works perfectly fine. Using the glue will keep it held there. Don't throw it back down on the table because it'll just fall off, but it'll definitely elevate the style a little bit more, which I think is really, really important for a steam tank to look as cool as possible, not being too barren, though I do have plans for one specific barren one. So after that, you're free to start priming up certain parts, right? You can prime the whole thing, but don't build them up, mostly because, look, the wheels are quite large, and so the pistons, you don't want that to go on the model just yet, or else it's just not going to be easy to paint. The same thing like with the actual armor piece. I primed that in black because I'm going with an Avalanche theme. So with this one, I'm going black, yellow, and silver. The other one I've got is black, yellow, and bronze. I'm not using all the paints that I used to use, but that's because I still have to get my collection back up and running. But black and yellow, perfect for Avalanche. Avalanche Sunset seems a lot better now too, which is surprising. And then with the white, it's because I'm going to be using contrast paints. Wood texture and all that. You know, contrast paints are a godsend, especially here. But to start off, it's very simple. And I'm not going to be going over much of the paints. Don't you worry, they will be listed below. It's just, there's not a lot of paints. It's just, I want to get the wildwood done, all the stuff there. And this is why it's important, because you're going to be getting the armor pieces. It's basically just to show you. When the armor pieces are on and the rest, you're not going to be painting that. It's going to be very difficult to get into those areas. And I know for a lot of people, they don't paint that stuff inside, and that's fine. I didn't do the same with mine. But when the model is going to be on display, and obviously that is going to be seen, because this isn't your typical steam tank, yeah, you're going to have to paint it. I know it sucks. There's a lot of detail in there, but surprisingly goes very, very quickly. Metals, 2 metals, and really just the wood, and you're pretty much golden, unless you want to go really high into it. But I'm getting it to a battle-ready standard, so I can use it in battles, because, I mean, why not? It's the Implacable, and I want to do all of them. It'll just be kind of cool, right? Wildwood here is a fantastic paint for that specifically, which is honestly so great. It is one of the best paints if you're trying to get this stuff done quickly, or maybe even some dryads. I know a lot of people look at a steam tank and think, oh my god, that's too much, because yes, it is a centerpiece mini, but it is a fantastic miniature for that. And yeah, pick one up. They're fun. They're really, really fun. I'm not going to be showing how to paint the whole model, mostly because I feel like a lot of people have done that. So I'm just showcasing you like the 3 paints that you need to get pretty much most of this done. After the wildwood, just put on some lead belcher pretty much on all the metals, and then you can go over a bronze there or whatever you want just to kind of elevate it a little bit more. It's such an easy thing. And yeah, there might be like a little bit of white splodges and stuff, but don't you worry, you're going to be doing an all over shade afterwards, and that's going to cover it up. It is honestly not that difficult of a model just to get done. Just a gentle reminder, however, when it comes to metals, try to thin it down. 2 thin coats there is more than plenty just to get a nice even spread. Don't worry too much about the bottom part, because nobody's going to see that. Barring the wheels, get the wheels done, because you're going to be able to see that from the side of the miniature. But the main thing here is just making it as easy as possible. Model's looking semi-decent right now, which is really important. And then Rune Lord Brass coming in just to bring some life into it, because if it's all silver, it's going to get kind of boring. Now, you'll notice that I'm only doing one section, and that's because I want to put on the armor plates afterwards. So I'm trying to make sure that all this is done, so you've got the freedom to then explore throughout the rest of the model afterwards when you've done like the main bulk, the one that is going to take the most work. That's how I've always done it when it comes to a bigger miniature. I tend to just work section by section, because that means that I can get one specific area focused down, get it done, and then look at the other areas, usually the easier ones, going, okay, yeah, this is going to be a piece of cake. Okay, so this is some Corax whites going over the black heraldry. I'm doing 2 thin coats of it. It covers surprisingly very well. I'm not sure if they've updated the formula recently, but it's covering very, very well. The idea here is you can't slap yellow on black. So you're going to have to go section by section on the shields or wherever you want some yellows to just hit it with some white, get a nice even coat, and then put the yellow on. It sucks, I know, because it just takes a lot longer, but if not, then your yellows are not going to look right, or they're going to need a lot more layers. That can then be bad for the miniature. And you want it just to work well for the mini. Now, one thing is going to happen here, right? It's going to happen to everyone. In the case of the white and the yellow, you might just spill it onto the hull, and that's fine. Just hit it with some Abaddon Black afterwards, or Abaddon Black apparently is the proper name for it, which just sounds weird to me. But yeah, after hitting it with some black paint, you're as good as new. In most cases, when you've sprayed it in Chaos Black, you're going to want to hit it with a full coat, very thin coat of Abaddon Black, just so it's coherent when you start doing mistakes and fixing them up. It's fine. Everyone makes mistakes, even myself. Alright, after you've done the armor plates, everything's up and running, and this is where we're going to start working on the Kitbash once again. I know I focused a lot on the paints there, but I feel like it's quite important when it comes to a miniature like this. This is the finicky part, because just trying to glue the armor plates to the actual rest of the miniature is annoying, and you're going to have to hold it for a while. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of super glue, but plastic glue is still generally the best. It's just annoying to hold down quite a bit. After you've glued it on and it's holding, you're perfectly fine, and the rest of the model is going to feel like smooth sailing. So when it's holding down, you can just see where the rest of the stuff is going to go, because you haven't put everything in just yet. The 2 points where the cannon is usually held up is going to be painted on their own, just so you can kind of plan where everything is going to go, because you are going to be changing out the cannon for a mortar. And the mortar is much wider in terms of size, so you're going to try to make sure that everything fits properly. What you want to do with these types of things is to scrape off the sides, but you can also start just filing stuff down, which I feel is probably the easier way to go. But you have to kind of ballpark it, hitting it from all sides and making sure that you're not making one side longer than the other. Because if not, what's going to happen is it's just going to look very, very odd, and you want this to look decent, right? Sometimes it happens and you can't really help it, so don't you worry if that does happen. If you've gone too far, you're going to want to just get some green stuff. But in some cases, you've likely bought a kit from the Empire, so the artillery kit will have a second. Does mean that you're going to have to make 2 cannons instead of 1 cannon, 1 mortar, but that's not too bad. And the box isn't too bad from a price point of view from a friendly local game store. Or you can eBay a piece. Usually those bits can be found for a couple of pounds or euros. A big thing to note is how this was represented in lore was the mortar, 2 swivel guns, and 2 crew. So use the Empire tank commander and a crew from a war machine. Again, eBay, you can get one for cheap if you don't want to put one of the ones normally in your normal crews onto a tank. Or you can use a spare state trooper or whatever. Just paint them on a base, just lightly glue them onto the base, and then snap them off, put them onto the tank afterwards. It's going to be the best way for you to do this, rather than just painting it on there, because it's so awkward in some cases just to get a brush down there. Believe me, after giving it a whole full wash, it was a little awkward in some places, but hey, this is how it goes, right? So trying to get it to fit can be quite awkward, like I said. But like you can see, the model is almost done, and it's literally just 4 or 5 paints. If you're looking for tools, I know Games Workshop sells a file, but you can also go to your local DIY store and you can get one for quite cheap, especially with different grit too, depending on how fast you want to go through it. But it's all that process, making sure it fits slowly but surely. Don't overdo it unless you want to just cause another headache. I don't know how long this video is actually going to be because I'm still kind of going through it, but it was just one of these projects that I just sat down to do. So hopefully you like these spontaneous videos. It's taking a normal slot, but there will be a lot more coming. I've got a lot of video plans, but I just really wanted to sort out a steam tank, and then, yeah. Pretty much after that is my favorite part. A full all-over wash of null oil. This is just to make sure that all the contrast paint is locked in, and just making sure it's looking not too bright, because this is Warhammer after all. I know a lot of people prefer their stuff darker. Null is a fantastic shade. It's that simple. It's not really that much work to make this model work. I absolutely adore this mini, and I'm really happy that I've got this up and running now. So I've got 2 steam tanks. One of them is a bit better quality than the other, I'd say, but that's because certain paints can't be used because I don't have access to them. Hell, a lot of local stores don't have these paints too, which is very, very strange. But I'm looking them together, and it's not that bad. A dry brush here and there could help, and that's probably something that I'll do afterwards, because the dry brushing usually comes after a shade. But for now, I'm very happy with how it's turned out. It was only around 2 or 3 hours. Let's just see the full result. But here is the end result. Unfortunately, I don't have the same basing material as my other tank and a lot of my Empire stuff. Because interestingly enough, where I used to buy it from, they won't sell to or send to the United Kingdom, which is absolutely frustrating. So this is a temporary base I have figured out how to get it sent here through alternate shipping methods. It just sucks because I just want to get this done now. But it's fine. It's an easy just pull off from the base. Super simple kit bash, super simple video, super simple scheme. But I'm really happy. Yeah. I always wanted these tanks back in the day. I can't get the original metals because they are horrendously expensive. But I can make my own. And why not? I've got a few steam tanks waiting. I might as well have a little bit of fun with it, right? Honestly, I can't wait to do the next one, but I do have to get back to the cafe project. Who knows? Maybe that happens soon. But let me know what you guys think about the model in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. Thanks for all the support, by the way, lately. I know it's completely different to the Total War stuff, but I'm really having fun. This is so good. And my cat has just decided to start eating now. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.